Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Dr. Soul Brother here, coming at you with another program with remedies to cure your ills. I'm not going to be long, but I'm going to get to the point. I'm sure everybody by now is aware of what's been happening in terms of people really, the black folk, embracing our um, Afro American slash Black American self, culture, history, etc. Ethnicity, um, nationality, all of those things. And this seems to be the case more now than, say, 10 years ago, possibly even 5 years ago, but definitely not this wasn't happening 10 years ago. That said, one of the areas that has become a problem in recent times, and I'm going to address it right here now, and that is this whole thing about hip hop and the so called founding fathers of rap and hip hop. Now, in one of my shows, I addressed Buster Rhymes, who, in my judgment, is a buster. And if you listening, Buster, you know you's a buster. But I'm also gonna address right on this show another cat who is from New York, like Buster, and like Buster Rhymes, has Jamaican roots, and that is Pete Rock. Remember Pete Rock and CL Smooth? They reminisce over you. Well, it's interesting. 30 years ago, most of us, myself included, were not aware that Pete Rock had island roots. However, he's gone out of his way now to um, be in everybody's face about his island roots. Um, it's one thing to take pride in your culture and history and all the rest of it. It's another thing to try to weaponize. And that's what this clown is doing. So, Pete Rock, if you're listening in the clouds, anybody knows you, let it be known that Dr. Soul Brother is calling you out, bruh. You are despicable on so many levels. Your credibility is in the toilet. You are just as bad as that Buster Rhymes. You two are twins of deception, to borrow from attorney Johnny Cochran. You're twins of deception, and you know better. I think it also needs to be noted that Pete Rock is the cousin of Heavy D, the rapper Heavy D. Now, Heavy D was originally from Jamaica, and I understand that he and his family moved to the States in the early 1970s. Now, I always knew that Heavy D was from Jamaica, and I thought that he had moved to the U.S. later than I realized. However, um, he moved here in the early 1970s. So this is essentially where he grew up. This became um, his adopted home. So he and Pete Rock were cousins. Here's my thing. If you notice, when Heavy D um, would be at award shows, um, and his music, generally speaking, his persona was um, reflected Black America, not Jamaica, where he was from originally. Okay, because again, this is where he grew up. Um, it's similar to what's his face, DJ Kool Herc, but DJ Kool Herc in today's environment has gone rogue. Has gone rogue. Pete Rock has gone rogue. Um, I'm gonna deal with Heavy D for a moment, then get back to my topic. And that is Pete Rock. And that is this. Again, if you look at when Heavy D would be on, let's say, the Soul Chain Music Awards or the BET Awards, Arsenio Hall show, etc. You look at his videos and listen to his songs. Again, it's clear the way Heavy D would flow, his style, even his speech reflected Black America, in spite of him being from Jamaica originally. Same thing with Pete Rock in a lot of ways. But again, Pete Rock, you gone rogue, man. Straight up rogue. And you're a problem. Your cousin Heavy D had a song that came out, I want to say maybe 30 years ago. It was definitely in the 90s, called Black Coffee. In fact, you can watch the video whenever you get ready on YouTube. And one of the lyrics in the song, there are two lyrics in the song that stick out. It talks about the kind of woman that he likes and wants, and said got to be a light skinned or dark skinned black, showing that he was nuanced as it related to black women, which is a whole nother conversation. And at some point, we're gonna have that conversation on my channel. In fact, we might even do a live stream if it were all possible. But moving on. Um, there's another lyric in it where he says black coffee, the African queen, part of the Afro American dream. Let me repeat that again. Black coffee, the African queen, part of the Afro American dream. Now, again, this is a Jamaican born Heavy D, aka Dwight Myers. That was his birth name. And that lyric sticks out for me. Black coffee, the African queen, part of the Afro American dream. Um, Mr. Pete Rock, you are on record um, of talking about you claim that hip hop was in Jamaica first due to Jamaican DJs talking over reggae music. You seem to miss something. Let me take you to school, Mister Man. Um, okay, you had Jamaican DJs talking over reggae music. I get that. Where'd they get it from? I'll wait, Mister Pete Rock. Where'd they get it from? Hmm? We need to look at that. Where did they get it from? Jamaica, where your parents are from, didn't they get exposed to Black American music by shortwave radio? Didn't they get exposed to black music from America by way of the sound system? Hmm? You didn't see the documentary called Studio One Story with Mr. Clement Dodd, aka Coxon Dodd, where he is on camera. And in fact, you can watch this documentary on YouTube whenever you get ready. Not just Pete Rock, anybody else on the sound of my voice, where he goes into the Black American music, R&B music that he brought back to Jamaica during the 1950s and 60s, when he, as well as fellow Jamaicans, were picking oranges and whatnot in Florida. You know, it's Florida, not but a hop, skip, and a jump from the Caribbean at large. Um, they got exposed to Black American DJs by way of the shortwave radio. So you heard Black American DJs out of New York, out of out of New York City, out of uh, I think out of Tennessee, Louisiana, New Orleans, Louisiana, places like that. And so okay, Jamaican DJs were talking over reggae music, but guess what? They got that from here, Mister. They got it from here. Then you are being interviewed by this journalist Torre, who was clearly just enamored with things Caribbean, Jamaican in particular. You could hear it in his voice, and I mean, Torre was sounding like he was a youngster who has a crush on his junior high school teacher. That's how he was acting when they were talking about Jamaica. Okay, sounded like he was melting like hot candle wax, to borrow from Michael Jackson. But anyway, um, Pete Rock told him 90% of hip hop um, is Jamaican. So, um, where are the receipts? Really, where are the receipts? Now, as of August 14th, 2023, Pete Rock, you said if hip hop didn't come from Jamaica, then tell me why so many Jamaicans in hip hop. Y'all think we here for nothing? Rasclot. Well, for those who don't know, Rasclot is a um, Jamaican curse word in patois. Now, I find it interesting that the music that I'm familiar with, Pete Rock and CL Smooth, there was none of that, no patois in there, none of the lyrics. So, and it seems to bother him. It bothers you, rather. I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna talk to you, man. It seems to bother you. You got your drawers all up in your bunches, bruh, over the fact that the role that Black America has played in influencing not only Jamaica but the world at large. Huh? What's that about? What's that about? You have no integrity. You are you have no integrity like Busta Rhymes or DJ Cool Herc. Yes, I said it. Come with it. What you got to say about that? DJ Cool Herc has no integrity at all. He's riding this wave and he's engaging in cultural theft. I'm gonna say it again. DJ Kool Herc is engaging in cultural theft, similar to Busta Rhymes, who talking about America don't have a culture. We as black folks in America don't have a culture, and all this kind of stuff, and bigging up his island roots, similar to Pete Rock and all them. And this is my question, Pete Rock. You know anything about the Jubilaires or the Golden Gate Quartet? Well, let me take you to school because I'm gonna answer that right now. Let me take you to school right now. Just have a sit down and listen to what uh, Dr. Soul Brother got to say. The Jubilaires, for your information, come out of Florida. They were around from 1935 to 1950, and there was a song you can watch it again on YouTube called Noah. And there's a video. In those days, it was called Soundies, but it was the video slash Soundies that was done 1944. And you hear one of the brothers rhyming. It's 1944. Let's move on. That was a gospel group, by the way. Another gospel group was the Golden Gate Quartet out of Virginia. I believe Norfolk, but it was definitely out of Virginia. Formed in 1934, a year before the Jubilees. They recorded a song, Preacher and the Bear, 1937. And when you listen to it very carefully, you can hear, I said, oh, that's who Rappers Delight kind of sound like. Same kind of style. Again, 1937. So my question is this, Mr. Pete Rock and others of that ilk. Did were in the 1930s and 40s were Jamaicans rhyming? Did they use the term rap? Somebody even had the nerve in the article to say was asked about did rap start in Jamaica and they said probably. Probably? Probably? No, probably. You didn't. You didn't. Um and I'm going to say this. There's an awakening right now. I thank God for this. There's an awakening where folks are coming out of their slumber and say, hey, this right here, this is ours. But it's more than just rap slash hip hop. It's taking pride in our American identity. Yes, I said American identity. It's also taking pride in our history and culture in this country. And one of the things that is significant is rap slash hip hop. And I say that because there's more to hip hop than rap. Rap is a part of it, it's merely one component. That's what it is. So, um, you want to do what the white folks have historically done, and that is rob black folks of what belongs to it. You are a culture bandit, Mr. Pete Rock. You, Buster Rhymes, and as we see with DJ Kool Herc and by his sister, by extension, his sister Cindy Campbell, you all are despicable, truly despicable. And once you have shown your hide, what needs to happen? Those of us who we thought we assumed were with us, we need to socially distance ourselves from you like we engage in social distancing as it relates to COVID 19. You're a virus and you're a problem and you are a cutthroat. All of y'all. But I'm going to stick on Mr. Pete Rock 'cause he's the topic. Yeah, bruh. You are despicable and you know better. You know better and you don't care. And you use Black America as a way to all the music that you did. reflected Black American culture, all of it. I'm familiar with your rap songs, okay? And you gonna turn around and cross Black America like that? No, you're no different than the white folks. It's like that scene, even though this is all in a different context, but it's applicable. What did what's the movie A Time to Kill with Samuel L. Jackson? I forget the oh um no, I can't remember his name. The white guy who played his lawyer. I'm drawing a blank right now for some reason. Um anyway, it'll come back to me. There's a scene when the white lawyer went to visit um Samuel L. Jackson's character, and he looks at him. Samuel L. Jackson looks at his lawyer, and he says to him, um, Matthew McConaughey, yeah, played his lawyer. He said, "You see me like that jury sees me. You are them." Well, I say that to say this. That's what these clowns are. You view Black America the way the white folks over here view us. You're no different than they. And matter of fact, in many ways, you're imitating your colonial master. That's what you're doing. So, what this has done, this whole thing has exposed a lot of people. And with this documentary, uh, and everybody has seen the trailer for Microphone Check. We've seen it. And folks are tripping right now. So if you're tripping off of the trailer alone, what you gonna do when the film comes out? Hmm? Mr. Pete Rock. And matter of fact, you know what? I invite you to come on my film. In fact, this is what I want you to do, Pete Rock, or anybody who knows him. You tell Pete Rock to comment in the comments section. And I would be willing to have him on here and we can have a discussion. Okay? A discussion. I know how to be civil. I invite you. Matter of fact, anybody in the chat who knows him, you tell him right straight up that Dr. Soul Brother is inviting him to come on my channel and we can have a discussion. Okay? Now, we can have a discussion where it be broadcasted live, or we can have it where it's live and we invite people, or it can be just he and I, one or the other. But guess what? I'm not running nowhere. You that bad, you bring it. You bring it. Okay? Tell you straight like that. Straight like that. Bring it. So I welcome you to come on Dr. Soul Brother's channel. I'm Soul Brother, but my handle is Dr. Soul Brother. Anyway, um, one of the beautiful things about this rap thing is this. People are learning now that you cannot separate the gospel music from rap. Why? Because I just gave two examples. Two groups that were formed in 1930s, Jubilaires and the Golden Gate Quartet, where they were rhyming. So rhyming not only is in secular music, it is also in gospel. Now, this rhyming goes back to at least the 1930s, could have been earlier. We don't know. At least I don't know. If anybody knows, if it goes beyond that, please uh, hit me to this. But we know it does go back to at least the 1930s, which is 9 decades ago. Nine. But anyway, um, this I felt was important because I'm really tired of the disinformation, misinformation that's intentional because of rudeness, arrogance, and haughtiness. So, in spite of the rudeness, arrogance, and haughtiness, I'm welcoming him, Pete Rock. Come on my show, man. And again, anybody who knows him, come on here. So, um, you were quoted of this thing about if hip hop didn't come from Jamaica, then tell me why so many Jamaicans um in hip hop. Well, I'll say this in closing. Because you have people who are part of uh, another culture and they're doing some example. I'll give two examples. Number one, Aretha Franklin. Let's say hypothetically she was born in Trinidad or Jamaica someplace, and she came to the U.S. when she was 4 or 5 years old, and grows up here, and later becomes the Queen of Soul. The Caribbean doesn't get the credit. Hazel Scott, who was originally from Trinidad, came to this country when she was 4 years old, and she grew up and became an accomplished jazz pianist. Trinidad doesn't get the credit. Why? Because that genre is organic to the United States. So it becomes a moot point. So this thing about those people, I mean, okay, you had Heavy D, Jamaican, who was a part of hip hop, clearly. And DJ Kool Herc, though I give pushback to him being the father of hip hop, which he is not, but I give him credit for having contributed. He was a great contributor, without question. Nobody in his or her right mind would argue that. But to because he played a role, and that's all he played was a role. He was not a founder, father of none of it. The music, the break dancing, none of that stuff. So how you gonna turn around and say, well, or Biggie Smalls, aka Notorious B.I.G., aka Christopher Wallace, who was a rapper, who's similar to you, Pete Rock, Jamaican parents, and he wasn't talking that greasy crap. That wasn't him. What was he talking about? Brooklyn in the house. Where Brooklyn at, rather? Where Brooklyn at? No, no. You've shown us that you are not with us at all. And for that reason, those of us with some dignity have to distance ourselves from you and others of that ilk. And we're making it clear. No more days like those. That day is done. We ain't living in the 1980s and 90s and even the early 2000s with that kind of crap. That's done. And for y'all in New York who engage in this New York chauvinism, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Outright shame. Anyway, Dr. Soul Brother's going to sign off now. You got any comments? Please comment. Please subscribe to my channel. Use your support. And until the next time, God bless. Again, make sure to tell Pete Rock to come on my show so we can talk and handle this. Good good night. Good night.